It is a Thursday. We like to show you Korea this day. Even though on many of our other segments these days on the video stream we do have photos, this is special because Jen has taken these videos of the wonders, the delights of Korea and brought them in to us. Good morning, Jen.
And it is very fresh videos.
Oh.
Those are, I normally film it like at least like within 2 weeks. These days. So you're about to see very trendy, up-to-date.
You won't see anything hot off the press.
Korea.
It's amazing. Fantastic stuff. And don't forget, if you've got any reasonable requests for Jen, you want to see something in particular, we're always up for more ideas, so send them in. We can't promise that we'll do them all, but we will try our best at the same time.
Yeah, I'd be always welcoming those ideas. I mean, we're looking for something trending, but I think the most important thing is if it suits your interests, things that you would like to know, you're curious about, anything.
Yeah, don't be shy. Don't be shy. And don't think, oh, this is a bit weird. We like weird as well.
Weird, yeah. Let's go weird.
Jen would be totally up for that. Have you had a good week since we saw you last Thursday, Jen?
Yeah, I did. I went to Sonjedo Island, which is going to be our next topic.
Oh, where is Sonjedo Island?
It's in the Seohae West seaside. And I'm from Daegu, Gyeongsangdo province, which is the east side of Korean peninsula. So for me, it has been also very fresh experience, enjoying the 갯벌, the muddy area, catching crabs,
nice,
and all that.
That is really good fun, especially if you've got kids in tow. In terms of where you grew up then, Daegu, that's like very inland, right? It's not near the sea. But if people do go to the seaside, where's like the nearest, most common place
From
they go?
Daegu?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of the Daegu people go to Busan, which takes like an hour by car.
Oh, so it's not that far, because from here it's
Not
like
that
4
far.
hours, right?
Yeah, very different. And also I went to Yeongdeok quite often because my grandparents used to live there. And Ulsan is also close.
Another big city.
Closer than Busan, actually.
So not really the west side that you're venturing over to from Daegu. James H. has already come up with a request. The National Tax Service Museum, it's in Sejong, though. Sejong City is a little far, James, but we'll see what we can do.
Service.
That's really interesting. I've never heard of a National Tax Service Museum. And
put it in the list.
Benny has said maybe like some destinations or tourist spots that are rising in popularity. We're always on the lookout for that as well. Tiger Blue Eyes says, can we ask about Jen Jin's life as well, your personal life?
My personal life,
Maybe just film a day in your life, Jen.
You know, actually, I did a couple of videos about that on my YouTube.
Oh.
And thing is, I could see that the view rate drops extremely. And I thought, okay, this is not it. You guys don't want to know about my life. But
they're not
just
Daily
teach
K
Korean,
subscribers,
and I'm
Jen.
sticking to that.
No, our subscribers love to get personal, so I'm sure they will watch your videos. Raul saying, with Daegu, isn't the most popular place the Samsung Lions Stadium? I guess that's the baseball team there. Are they quite popular in that area, I think? Mama Wolf also saying, does Korea have any dog parks? Lots these days, actually. Do you have a dog, don't you?
I do, yeah. I used
your
to
parents' place?
raise it in my place, but at the moment he's in Daegu with my parents for now. And yeah, we have been to some dog cafes a lot for one thing, and there are like cafes that also provide parks.
Yeah,
a little spot where dogs can just play around freely.
Yeah, I don't think we've done like a dog cafe, so that might be a good idea. Thanks for all these ideas, listeners. Today's hashtag, before we get to your videos, Jen, is 홍보대사 or PR ambassador. What does that bring to mind? Have you ever done any like PR or marketing for anything?
You know, I remember when I was, I think, about 20, I happened to join this a speech contest thing, and I got like the first award. I think.
Nice!
And I became like a kimchi 홍보대사 or something like that.
That was like the first prize.
I think I got that kind of a title.
Wow!
Like for a temporary time, I guess.
Promoting kimchi.
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe it was Korean culture 홍보대사, something like that.
Did you get some free kimchi or something?
I did not,
Oh.
but definitely it's a huge honor to, promote anything.
Yeah.
Especially about my own country's culture.
Yeah, they're trusting
Right?
you, right? Whatever organization is giving you that kind of title, it's a
Yeah.
lot of responsibility, I suppose. If you could be the 홍보대사 then, the cultural or PR ambassador for anything, what would you like to do? Like, would it be a fancy product, like a sports car or a sports team, perhaps, or some kind of aspect of Korean culture?
Well, definitely for now, I'd be really pleased to promote Korean culture. I'm teaching Korean. I'm always trying to deliver some fun facts about Korean culture. And, like in the past, I felt like those promoters or like diplomats, I got the image that is something that only few people can do. But as you can feel it, we're seeing so many individuals doing that job amazingly through their own channels, on their Instagram or social platforms.
You don't need to be like paid $1 million and be a celebrity anymore, right?
Yeah.
If you've got a YouTube channel or an Instagram account, you can promote whatever you like there. And your own country's culture, I think that's very meaningful. Onwards and upwards to today's video then, Jen. And don't forget, listeners, we love your videos on a similar theme. So today we're talking about the Suwon Hwasong Fortress. If you've been there, great. Send us your photos and videos. But if not, any kind of old fortress or castle might be appropriate. You can tell us about it or send us photos via Kakao Talk. Our username is Daily K. So tell us a little bit about this place and what we're going to see.
Yes, so this fortress is very special to Koreans as well because, like a lot of the buildings are made of woods, right? So a lot of things are burned already in the way passing during the war. But this is made of stone, so it has survived until now.
Wow.
And it's been built like relatively not that long ago in the late 18th century, so that's like about 300 years old.
Okay, still impressive.
Yes, during the Jeongjo, King Jeongjo area, which is like the end phase of Joseon dynasty.
So he built it around that time in the Suwon area, which, just for people who don't know Korea and its geography, is south of Seoul, but not very far, about 30, 40 minutes, right?
Right. And, there is some good reason to that, actually, because it's not that far from Seoul. There was a good reason for Jeongjo to locate the fortress there because he wanted to visit there often.
I see.
And commemorate his father's death. And as some of you might know, Jeongjo's father, he was actually killed by his own dad.
Oh dear.
Locked in a wooden rice chest.
Oh, is that Sado?
사도 세자, right?
Okay.
세자 here means prince. So he did not become a king. He did not get that title. And even, when I was in my teen years, when I was learning about that during the history time, it was really shocking incident for me, surely.
I think there is some pop culture surrounding that, maybe a movie or two, and really tragic history. And that was Jeongjo's father. Well, what are we going to see in the first video? Something more light-hearted, I assume.
Yeah, so in the first part, I'm going to show you the exterior appearance, the beauty, and the people enjoying their time surrounding the fortress.
All right, let's check it out. It looks like a beautiful day.
It was.
Look at that kite.
The blue sky, and that was a huge one, by the way.
I know, the tail of that kite is so
the
long.
little ones on the left side?
Oh, wow.
So the middle one, there were some huge kites, people flying.
And there's the big gate and the walls.
I went there on Saturday, so you can imagine how there were a lot of people there, and there's no fee charged.
You can just walk around this
You
area.
can just walk around any time of the day, open whole day.
You can walk onto the top of the gate, through the gate, and it's all open up.
And there are 4 gates in this fortress, and this was the Changnyeongmun, the blue dragon. And the behind area, it looks like this. It has this beautiful curve, which isn't so common to see in Korean building, I suppose.
Yeah, I
And
don't
you
think
have
I've
to
seen
know,
something like
this
that.
is not just a fortress, but a place where, they were preparing for possible war. Because, Korea has went through a lot of wars, invasions. So I was feeling the stone, guys. Stones from 300 years ago.
You're totally allowed to touch it, right? And they've got the flags up there to make it look like the past. And look at all those grassy areas. That's not common in Seoul.
Right. Yeah, not much grass to see in Korea.
You can see the modern city is there in the background as well, right? Just past the walls.
And this is built in an upper, like a hillside. So the buildings you see, you can see it below.
Yeah.
And because they wanted to protect the Sadoseja, King Jeongjo's father's tomb, and you can see people enjoying the archery.
Just in case someone attacks. Over on the grass. I've done that before. It's so fun.
Oh.
Yeah, at that Suwon Hwasong Fortress. Because
Wasn't
my
it
family
too hard,
lives there.
though? Is it just
like
thing that you can
they
train yourself
teach you
already?
And it's not too far, the targets, but yeah, you do miss most of them still. And when you just hit one, you're like, yay, hooray. But it's great because that was a tradition from back in the Joseon Dynasty, right? Archery and stuff like that. And it's just so beautiful. Everything just looks lovely there. The kind of hills, the grass, the trees. I love it.
Again, Korea, we don't have a lot of grand plains or open area. Most of the areas we are seeing mountains. So a lot of the fortresses or castles we say is 산성. San means mountain. The castle that is using the mountainous features. And Suwon Hwasong, it doesn't have the san letter here because it's not a mountain, but still you're seeing the hills.
That's interesting.
So already they're using that geological feature.
I'd never thought about that, but places like Naman Sansong, there are many Sansongs like you mentioned, but just without the sun? Yeah, I don't know too many. That's an interesting point, isn't it? And it's not a palace here. This is a fortress that we're talking about, so separating it from like Gyeongbokgung, etc., etc. That is part 2 of K-Patch, beginning right now with Jen in the studio, taking you to Suwon Hwasong Fortress. We've learned a bit about it. We've got lots of messages coming in as well. Steve saying, the fortress looks so spectacular, the stuff of legends. I visited there twice, but never went through the gates or the side areas before. You missed out, Steve. You should have explored a little bit. I think a lot of it, because it looks in amazing condition, is like restored and renovated over the years, right? It's not all perfectly preserved from 300 years ago.
Yeah, because the Changnyeongmung, for example, the gate that was in the video, it has this wooden pavilion, but it was burnt completely during the Korean War during 1950 to 1953.
That's a shame.
So that is completely renovated, but the stone areas are all the original ones.
Oh, wow.
That's
so you're
how I
really
know.
touching the
At
stones
least most of them.
From hundreds of years ago. Yeah. I'm sure there's been a bit of like making sure they're all safe and standing there well, but still a lot of original stonework. That's cool. Raul saying, we don't have fortresses here in Argentina, but we do have ruins like the Jesuit or Jesuitict ruins on the north side of Argentina from a Guarani culture. I've not heard of that. And yeah, I guess Argentina isn't really associated with like the Mayan civilizations and stuff like that. So I'm really keen to learn more about that. Guarani? I've never heard that at all.
And from Miss Bradika, I miss flying my stunt kite. It was colorful like the emoji, but different shape.
Oh, you had a stunt kite? What is a stunt kite? Because the ones we saw in your video look like, the ones that anyone can kind of fly up there. It's quite safe. Stunt sounds dangerous, I wonder.
Kite.
Miss Bradica. Are those the ones that look like paragliders that can fly really fast? Maybe. Emma Bonnickson says, the Suwon Hwasong Fortress, I was there just a few weeks ago and it was so fun to explore. Emma is studying in Korea. If you've got any photos, Emma, do send them in to us. Our username on Kakao Talk once again is Daily K.
Well, Emma and I could have come across each other.
Who knows, right?
And from Hartley, I've seen about 3 to 4 dramas that feature some reference to Poor Prince Ha-dong. The shape of those fortress walls reminds me of some American star-shaped fortresses. All those points form good kill boxes. I mean defenses.
kill boxes. Yeah, in British castles, we have so many in Britain. You've got the bits where the archers can just peer out and shoot any people down below.
Yes.
And if you're high up, that's such a big advantage as well, isn't it? Siska saying, I've never been to Suwon Hwasong Fortress. I went to another place in Suwon. I needed to hike and see a temple or something, but I completely forgot what it was called. It was recommended by our Friday guest, Chef Ryan. Do try and remember that, Siska, because I'm not sure. Is there another famous temple site in the Suwon area? There probably are Buddhist temples in the area, but I'm not sure which ones. Moving onwards, Jen.
Yes.
Going to get to video number 2, or is there anything you wanted to tell us about the other bits? The gates and
I just
whatnot?
want to add that if you ever come to Korea, this should highly recommend it to be on your bucket list to visit because it's been registered as the World Heritage Cultural Heritage by UNESCO, by the way.
Oh, fantastic.
Which is a huge honor. And if you get that title, you can often expect the surrounding area with some fancy food places and, because it's a famous tourist spot. And so I happened to visit this Suwon Culture Street, just right nearby the Suwon Hwasong.
Okay.
And also in the second video, you're going to see the Haenggung. Haenggung here means temporary palace. Because again, this fortress was built by King Jeongjo to commemorate his father's death. So he actually moved the tomb of Sadoseja to this place.
Oh, wow.
And also there was another political reason as well, but he wanted to come here and think about his father, so he built this temporary palace.
Oh.
Whenever he comes to this place, he wanted to stay there.
Interesting.
So you're going to see that palace and the culture food street as well.
Let's check it out.
So this is the entrance gate, and you're seeing the book in the second floor, by the way.
Oh, the little drum,
just in case there is some kind of trouble outside. The soldier wanted to tell each other. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And there they had this stamp tour event. So if you can get that stamps, I think they give you some kind of prize.
If you get them all on the map.
Yeah, and this you're seeing the character, the mannequin, the character from Daejanggeum K-drama. I'm sure some of you might know that drama. I think they shoot the drama here, I suppose. That's why they have this figure there.
Maybe bits and bobs. Yeah, because I've seen it at other places, I think in Jeju as well. Again, more mannequins in there.
Yeah, and you're seeing those traditional patterns, flowers. That's a lotus usually. And there, the chair of the King Jeongjo. And there you're seeing King Jeongjo's mom. She had her 60th birthday.
At the palace.
Yeah, anniversary there.
Wow.
And there you're seeing the Hwasong Ocha.
A little tour bus.
That
cool.
take you to spots. And this is the food culture street.
Just by the fortress itself?
Right next to the Haenggung, actually.
The palace.
Yeah.
Some lovely murals on the wall.
You're seeing the paintings on the wall, beautiful cafes.
A really kind of rustic,
modern,
old school look. Wow.
Beautiful spots, flowers. Yeah. And also, I wanted to try something related to Suwon. And
pasta.
Suwon is famous for galbi. I didn't know that.
Yes,
and
the
this is the
galbi.
Suwon galbi, the rib pasta.
Oh,
so
wow.
good, by the way.
You can have galbi and pasta? I don't think I've ever seen that.
And there were these little studios where you can see people painting the traditional patterns of Korean roof tiles. And if you pay a bit of money, you can actually learn it.
Oh, nice. And buy some of the products as well.
Yeah.
That's a lovely little street. I totally miss that whenever I've been in Suwon, because that Haenggung, I didn't know it was called that, but we visited there. It must have been Chuseok in 2011 when my parents were over here. Just after the family gathering, we all went out and it was open and it was free on that day. I don't know if it's always free. Did you have to pay entry to get in to Haenggung?
Yes, for Haenggung we paid a little bit of money.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's not part of the Suwon Hwasong, I guess the management zone or something.
Yeah, it's like
it wasn't pricey at all.
And Changdeokgung Palace, you have to pay to go in usually. But I remember that Chuseok, it was free because it was Chuseok. I think they're having an event, and you could play all the traditional games like Chegi Chagi, the kind of hacky sack, and the Tuho and things like this, which are often at palaces, to be honest. Steve says it's so nice to see the royal dwellings, the side alleys, the arts and the crafts, something for everyone.
Yeah.
Jenga saying, teleport me to there, please, somebody. Galbi pasta? How did that look? Because it looked like kind of tomato sauce. And isn't the galbi a yangnyeom galbi? Like, or is it like just beef with no seasoning?
Well, to me, it tasted like super. What is super in English? Something
like
that's
kind of charcoal or coal flavor.
Yeah. Together with the tomato sauce.
It was a good combination.
It's so good, by the way.
Really?
Yes. I'm going to visit that place again, by the way.
Yeah, because Suwon is famous for its galbi. Hence, from, what was it? Kukkanjigap Extreme Job. I think there was the galbi yangnyeom tongdak, right? So the chicken fried with the galbi marinade, which was just made up in that film. But then it became a real flavor of chicken. And I heard Suwon still does that as well as part of its food culture. Fantastic.
Yeah, and there were a lot of bakeries as well. And a lot of cafes, but also some local foods like kalguksu and bibimbap, gimbap, all that.
You can
Little
get
streets there.
Anywhere in
lined up
Korea,
there.
I think these days, in the city areas like Suwon. Suwon is a satellite city of Seoul after all. You'll be able to find something that matches your taste buds, even if you're a bit fussy, I'm sure. We'll get to some more talk about Suwon and the fortress and the palace with Jen, and some of your photos and messages, whatever this inspires. Send it in to us via Kakao. That was a lovely track from Cheese with Pongdang. I'm guessing...
What a lovely match, isn't it?
Yeah, because our international listeners who don't speak Korean, they're not going to get that, right? Because the English title is Pongdang, Pongdang. Doesn't mean anything. How would you say, is that like to dip something?
Right.
Okay.
Dip something in a sauce, or we use it a lot too when you just casually, smoothly, kind of lightly throw a stone into a pond and it makes a pongdang sound.
Maybe in English, the similar expression would be plop. Like it just plops in there. Pongdang. And so why that's a good match is you could imagine like melted cheese or something, right? Some fondue and dipping something in there. Lots of messages coming in. We got Tropic Girl K saying UNESCO status does bring investment and tourism. It's a great thing. And those painted murals on the buildings in the little side alley remind me of Banksy's works. Painting them 2 stories up must be tough. Yeah, when they're on the high side of buildings, like in that case, they were pretty high up, those murals. How do people get up there? I don't think it's graffiti in that case. It's probably encouraged, like officially.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you know, this was my like 3rd time visiting this area, and I feel like it's getting more and more. I'm seeing more of those wall paintings, a lot of the stores. As Tropical just mentioned, because of that title, I think there's been a lot of investment coming in, and Corona is going away, right? So I'm sure that more of those, energetic spots will light up this spot.
I'm sure they're going to make that street into something more official, right? And promote it some more as well. Foodie367 just joined and said, did you mention chicken? Yeah, in a passing way, because Suwon is famous for a certain galbi chicken, but what Jen showed us was the galbi pasta.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I really wanted to show you guys the Tongdak curry.
Yeah.
They even have the Tongdak street.
Like this whole street dedicated to chicken, right?
Yeah.
Loads of chicken places.
Tong, by the way, means a full of something. So it means one full chicken body.
Yeah, which you used to get, and you still can find on the back of some trucks where they have a rotisserie, right? And you can buy it for quite cheap and then take it home to eat with the family, something like that. Rising Radiance, I feel for you. You said that you're just sometimes getting tired of just watching Korea instead of living in Korea. Come on over. Take the plunge. Pongdang, you won't regret it, I promise.
Yeah, and from Rising Radiance, we should all aim to visit Korea and stay there for a good amount of time, always.
To enjoy all that it has to offer, you'll have to be here for a while. Yeah, you got a couple more?
And from Benny, love the place and must visit for me. And from Siska, I want to go to Suwon again. Those places are nice, Jen.
Yeah, because Suwon's really rather large. Like I said, I went there last Friday for the football when Korea played Paraguay. The stadium is in a completely different location as well, and it doesn't have that vibe at all, to be honest. It's a nice World Cup stadium, but it's very different. You need to make sure you go to the right part of Suwon to find the fortress.
A huge spot.
We got some photos from our listeners as well. First up, Emma, who we mentioned, went there a few weeks ago. Here are her pictures. He said, I went to the fortress. It was so beautiful. Lots of fun. That is the palace, right? Haenggung.
Haenggung, right.
I'm assuming, yeah, you can
That's
see the drum.
Shimpongnu, I'm seeing the entrance gate with the drum.
Is
on the
that what
second
it's
floor.
called? Because if you're looking at these characters, the writings, that's not Hangul, right?
Yeah.
That's the old
Chinese
style Hanja.
Letter.
So can you read that, Jane? Can normal Koreans read what that is?
So for me, the right side letter, which means shin, new, it means something new and fresh.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is, even for Koreans, there is like a level of hanja, depending on how difficult it is. So we set that level depending on how often we see it in our daily lives.
Wow.
And that shin is something that we get to see relatively often. So I guess a
Okay.
lot of people would recognize that letter.
The other one's not so
The
much.
other ones I have to guess. So if it starts with something shin, then I say, oh, probably it's Shimpunglu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And you got some info on this area,
Yeah,
right?
so this is the main gate of the palace. And it's good to know that whenever you go to the palace or the fortress, the gates all have the meanings and the stories depending on where it is located. And since this is the main gate, the name Shimpongnu meaning pavilion of new Feng, which comes from the story about the founder of Han China.
Oh.
So it's also good to know that a lot of the Korean cultures have its roots from Chinese old tales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
That's
interesting,
another
isn't
fun
it?
story to know.
Thank you for the photo of the pavilion. We got to mention the story, and you got to check out the fact that, yeah, a lot of the hanja, maybe regular Koreans, they know the really common ones, but not so much the others. So I always quiz my wife, what does that mean? And a lot of the time she's like, I don't know. And you wouldn't know, even if you grew up in Korea. And then you, Emma, also sent in some photos of the beautiful wall and the fortress, saying you went on a day off.
Beautiful.
And you also managed to bump into some friends from Ihwa, where you're attending, on the bus to the fortress from Suwon Station.
Wow, you're from Ihwa?
Yeah, I think
Nice to
she's
see
studying there. Is
you.
that a fellow alumni
Yay,
then?
I've graduated.
Isn't that lovely? Thank you very much for that,
Thank
Emma.
you.
We've also got something from In Yin here. Oh dear, sorry, excuse me, frog in the throat. Where are you, In Yin? I'm trying to suss out the photo before I read the blurb. Can you guess where that is?
Oh, that looks spectacular, right?
It says
The
this
size.
is the Royal Mile, which runs between Edinburgh Castle and Holyrood Place. I can't remember which is behind me. Would you know? I'm pretty sure that's Holyrood Palace, because Edinburgh Castle, from what I remember, is on a hill. I've not been to Edinburgh, though, because it's very far from London, like a good 6-hour drive or something. Then you've got a photo of you in front of Osaka Castle in Japan. Wow.
Osaka Castle.
Looks very different to the Korean architecture, right?
Yeah.
Despite being close by, completely different feel. And then the third one, Butterbeer at the Harry Potter Castle in Universal
wow.
Studios in Japan. The drizzle and gloomy weather really added to the atmosphere. So magical. Yeah, that is
Now
just...
I'm getting jealous.
That's just a fake-like thing, right, for a theme park. But I went to the same theme park in the States. You feel like you're in Harry Potter world.
Wow,
It's
yeah.
amazing. Even though it's not like hundreds of years old, it looks that way. I'm jealous
You know,
as well.
Korean fortresses and castles are also very beautiful,
Hmm.
but I'm not gonna lie. When I see those size and shapes of the fortress, oh wow, that's just jaw-dropping, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's why many Koreans love going to Europe and seeing all the old architecture, the old castles. But I
Yeah.
think it's a bit like maybe Westerners, they're amazed by Korean architecture because they don't see it as much, right? So whatever you've seen doesn't look as impressive, right? Fantastic stuff. Thank you very much for your submissions.
Thank you.
And Jen, thank you so much for yours as well. Have we got the theme next week? You said the island.
Yes, so we're heading to Seonjedo Island. I'm
And-
sure this is the first time covering from this program.
I've never heard
Yeah.
of this island before. So for our listeners, if they wanted to send something in, and it could change along the week if we find something else to film, but we will definitely do it in a future episode. What, mud flats and catching crabs and things like that would be a theme?
I mean, it's also nice. It's always nice to show you some very famous, popular tourist spots, but also as a local Korean, it's also, I think, meaningful to share where we actually go, where a lot of Seoul people go during their weekends.
Fantastic.
This is one of those spots.
Maybe for a day trip or a one night, 2 days. The prize winner today for the K-pop Korean lyrics textbook is going to be Miss Bonnickson, because you're in Korea right at the moment, so you can receive that posted to your Korean address. Just let us know your address and your phone number as well. I know you did win recently, but because you're here, you're perfect. And Jem, we'll see you next Thursday.
Have a great day.